Hello friends, my name is Jinesh Shah and I hope you all are good and healthy. Let us talk about the one of the important chapter, ratio analysis. So after completing this video you are able to have the basic identification of basics of ratio analysis, that is of definition and all that things, utility of ratio analysis, then advantages of ratio analysis. So after advantages, limitations of ratio analysis, factors affecting ratio analysis, different types of ratios, certain examples. So after completion of this presentations and videos, you will be able to have the idea about these topics. Let us start with the first title, basics of ratio analysis. As far as ratio analysis is concerned, it can be said that it is nothing but the indication quotient of two mathematical expression and as the relationship between two or more variables. So here two or more variables indicates minimum two variable must be included so that to have any identification mathematical expression of number, means the relationship between at least two variables will be identified through the way of mathematical expressions or certain numbers. But again, condition must be of having minimum two variables. Let us come to the next, utility of ratio analysis. The following are the main utilizers, means who are using the ratio analysis. First, investors. Second, management. Then government, lenders, suppliers, customers, shareholders. Promotional activities for research, that means the institution or organization who are doing the promotional activities for research and development. So these are the different persons or authorities who are going to make the utilization of different ratios for their different perspective manner. Let us go with the first one, investors. Investors are in different categories. It may be of creditors, it may be of any type of data suppliers, it may be of loan provider or finance provider, it may be of security venture holders, it may be of equity share capital, it may be of preference shares. So there are least big list as far as the category of investors is concerned. So how they are making the utilization and how they are making the uses of ratios, it has been mentioned. The investors make the investment of the money. Of course, they are making the investment of the money in different form. It may be of debenture, it may be of supply of raw material on credit, it may be of in the form of equity share, it may be of other financial sources or etc. So they will make the financial analysis of the company, means before making the investment they will make the analysis in different viewpoint, and this viewpoint will be helpful to them so that to have the decision making whether to make the investment in the same firm or not, for longer duration of time, for shorter duration of time, or in either of the instrument, means whether to make the investment of the same money in which instrument it will get decided. After investment or investors, let us go with the management. Like it will be very much helpful for the management as far as ratio analysis is concerned, because they are the pillars of the company or pillars of the organization, will decide, will make the decision where to make the investment and how to make the investment and how to generate more and more cash flow through the way of investment in different instruments. So the management will take the decision and prepare the strategies according to the results and output. Means if they feel the favorable output in certain object, then they will make the investment in that object. The management can take the decisions accordingly so that the company can progress and can sustain in the market against competition. Nowadays, if we talk about the competition, it is very broad concept, and most probably you won't find even a single industry who has been enjoying 100% pure monopoly. Now, what is pure monopoly? What is monopoly? It is the concept of economics, but to have the basic idea, pure monopoly indicates only one firm in the industry. Only one firm in the industry has been indicated by pure monopoly. So, that is what is about the management, and ratio analysis helpful for management. After that, let us go with the government. Of course, government is having more interest to collect the tax. So, how they can collect more and more tax, and through which the more tax revenue can be collected, it will be there in the interest of the government. So, by using different ratios, by using different numerical outputs, they will identify what is the amount of collection of the tax and etc. Here the prediction of the industry development can be possible by the way of availability of the different ratios. Means apart from this tax, government is also been very about the industrial development. The reason is, if the industry is getting developed, simultaneously economy of entire country will get developed. So, apart from collection of the taxes, the government is also been thinking that what can be the level of development of the industry can be focused over or etc. After that, lenders. Lenders means who have financed, who have made the investment on credit. Credit in the sense they have provided finance and they are charging certain amount of interest or etc. So, the lenders who have financed to the company are interested to have the acknowledgement of the recovery, means they are very much about the very much worry about the recovery of their revenue income as well as capital income. Revenue income in the sense continuous interest which they are been getting through the way of loan or debt finance, and capital interest, capital amount means whatever amount has been invested for longer duration of time, for shorter duration of time. So, they are been worried about both the types of recovery. So, they will make the analysis, and after making the analysis they will decide whether to make the investment in the same firm and whether not to investment in the same firm. So, through the way of ratio analysis it will be very much helpful to them. After that, lenders, suppliers. Suppliers means who have sold their goods on credit base to the company. Why they are been making the analysis or why they have been using the ratios? Because they are very much they are eager to know whether it will be possible for them to recover that amount from that company within stipulated time duration or not, so that they can make the management of their finance. So, again the supplier who have sold their goods on credit base to the company are eager to know about the recovery of the investment which they have made by the supplying the necessities. It may be of raw materials, it may be of any other materials, tools or etc. So, it will be possible, it will be helpful to them. After that, customers, definitely you may find that you may think that why customers, but customers like because the customers will prefer the company whose financial position is strong in nature. Otherwise, the legal relationship of the transferability of ownership of the product is obviously understood through financial information available in the statements. Means whether if the financial condition of the company is very much strong, then in such case the customer will prefer certain companies so that to have the consumption of the goods or services. So, here it is very much important to have the transferability of ownership of the product is obviously understood through the financial information available in the statement. Let us have the ideology of the shareholders. Definitely Shareholders can also be bifurcated in two ways, equity share and preference share. But apart from this bifurcation, it will be equally important for both of them, because ultimately if we talk about, they both are taking risk. More or less in comparison, they both are taking risk. Obviously, equity shareholders are having the highest risk, that means they are the highest risk takers, and preference shareholders are less risk takers, but ultimately both are risk takers. So they will decide, and for making the decision whether to invest in the company or not, it will be very much important for them, so that to have the information and acknowledgement about the business, the output of the company, not only for the last year only, but they are also focusing on the previous certain years. So these are the important matters of shareholders. Last, promotional activities for research and development. So for research and development activities of any organization, the huge amount of the investment is required. Of course, if the company is trying to make the development of any product or any service, it takes huge amount to make the investment. But on the contra, we can say that if the company does not make the maintenance of the research and development activity, then in such sense, the future of the company will be there in question mark. So for research and development activities of any organization, the huge amount of the investment is required, and it will be only possible from the better results of the company, and the same be ascertained from the different financial ratios of organization. So these are the different authorities for which the ratio analysis are being carried out. Let us have the advantages of ratio analysis. First, forecasting and planning means, through the way of ratio analysis, the trend in cost, sales, profits and other factors or other realities will be acknowledged, will be involved, will be known to the person or to the relevant parties, not only for the current year, but since many years it can be possible. This trend analysis with the help of ratio may be useful for forecasting and planning future business activities. That means, if any future business activity is to be carried out, then for that ratio analysis will be helpful full time. After that, budgeting, of course, for any company, any organization, apart from this company, for any household also, nowadays majority of the household makers are preparing the budget. Budget in the sense, not in the terms of legal, not in the terms of exact accounting terminologies, but future estimated expenditure. So they are preparing the list over there. So budget is an estimate of future activities on the basis of past experiences. Accounting ratios help to estimate budgeted figures. For example, sales budget may be prepared with the help of analysis of past sales. After that, measurement of operating efficiency means, through the way of ratio analysis, it will be helpful to compare the present situation with past situation. So here, by making this comparison, it will be possible to conclude whether the company is working efficiently or not. Likewise, for an example, if the profit worthiness of the last year as compared to current year, so if the comparison is made, and after making the comparison, if it is found that current year's profit percentage has been increased, I am using the word percentage, not in amount, because it may be possible the last year's profit was 2 lakh, but the percentage was 20% on sales. Now in current year's profit, the amount is 2,50,000. It may be possible, but let us say for an example, if the percentage has been declined to 15%, then in such scenario, it can't be said that the amount of profit, yeah, it can be said that the amount of profit has been increased, but simultaneously if the percentage on sales can be estimated, then in such scenario it can be said that the performance of the company has been reduced as compared to last year, because the net profit or whatever the profit ratio has been derived, it has declined. So, here it can be said that if the profit ratio has been declined, the efficiency of the company has been declined or decreased. So, that is what is about the measurement of operating efficiency. Next title is communication. Ratios are effective means of communication. Communication means if either of the organization wants to generate certain amount or wants to make the business in huge or in small even, then communication is the compulsory required. So, ratio are effective means of communication and play a vital role, means a big role has been played by the ratios in informing the position of the, through the way of ratios it will be very much helpful to make the identification that what is the present situation and current situation of the organization, and whether to make the investment in the same firm or not, it will be very much acknowledged to them. After that, control of performance and cost. Yeah, so if the organization wants to make that through the way of identification of the ratio, if it comes to know that certain amount of cost has been increased as compared to the last year or as compared to the expected amount, then in such scenario it will be helpful, it will be advantageous matter for the organization, and the company can, advantageous in the sense acknowledgement is advantageous, increased amount of cost is not advantageous here. So, it will be advantageous, so that to have the acknowledgement about that, that the yes, company can have the identification that in such field the company has incurred more amount of expenditure as compared to budgeted or as compared to last year. Then interfirm comparison. Comparison of performance of the two or more firms, rival firms or rival efficient and inefficient firms, means whether this firm is efficient or inefficient, it will be compared through the way of ratio analysis. The best way of interfirm comparison is to compare the relevant ratios of the same firm or of the same matter. After that, indication of liquidity position. Liquidity position in the sense, such company who is having enough fund so that to make the payment of outstanding liability in shorter duration of time, and it is only possible as and when the company is having such type of liquid asset which can be converted into cash as and when it requires or in very short duration. So, through the way of ratio analysis, it will be identified by the company about the liquid position, that whether the company is having efficiency to make the payment of outsider debts or etc. After that, indication of long term solvency position. So, liquidity means it is a shorter duration of time. As far as solvency position is concerned, it is for longer duration of time. So, through the way of ratio analysis, it can be identified that long term debt paying, how much it is possible, feasible and visible to make the payment of debt as far as long term duration is concerned, whether the company is having enough fund in the terms of money, in the terms of any other fund or etc., so that to make the payment of outsider liabilities for longer duration of time. So, here debt paying capacity of the firm will be identified and comparison will be made, and through this comparison it will be generated that which company is having strong situation as compared to others. After that, indication of overall profitability. The management is always concerned with the overall profitability. Whatever the company you are been focusing over, the management of the company will only be focusing, will only be having the aim of having maximum profit through the way of maximum revenue or minimization of sales or etc. So, they want to know whether the firm has the ability to meet its short term as well as long term obligations to its creditors, to ensure a reasonable return to its owners and secure optimum utilization of the assets of the firm. If the optimum utilization of the asset has been possible, then the maximum revenue, maximum profit can be generated or can be possible. After that, signal of corporate sickness. A company is sick when it fails to generate profit to a continuous manner. So, if the company is not generating profit, I am not asking about the at the initial stage, but after certain years it has been expected from the company that if it settles down, then it will be expected from the company and the management that the company will keep earning profit on year. So, a company is sick when it fails to generate profit on a continuous basis and suffer a severe liquid crisis. Severe liquid crisis means the company won't be having enough cash fund. Assets may be possible the company is having, but as far as liquid fund is concerned, the company is facing severe problem. So, proper ratio analysis can give signal of corporate sickness in advance, so that timely measurement means in advance the investors will be acknowledged. In advance the investors will be acknowledged that whether the company is going to be sick in future within or in after 1 or 2 or certain years or not, through the way of through the utilization of ratio analysis it will be possible for them, so that to have the identification. Then aid to decision making. Ratio analysis helps to make decision like whether to supply goods, whether not to supply goods on credit or etc. Whether means whether the company is having creditworthiness in the market or not. It will be identified through the way of ratio analysis. Whether bank loans will be made available etc. Bank loan won't be available as and when the company wants to have. For that, certain documentation, certain results or annual results of the company must be provided to them. So, it is like that. And last, simplification of financial statements means ratio analysis makes it easy to grasp the relationship between various items and helps in understanding the financial statements. So, that is what is about the advantages. As if like advantages, ratio analysis is having certain limitations. So, let us go with the first limitation of financial statement. Means ratio are calculated from the information recorded in the balance sheet or profit and loss account, that is of financial statements. Apart from that, whatever workers, whatever other matters have been there in the organization, it won't be taken into consideration. After that, historical information. Ratio analysis are being compared from the present and past information. Here we don't have any future amount. So, here the historical comparison only can be possible. Then different accounting principle, definitely different accounting principle policies regarding valuation of inventories. Likewise, someone is following FIFO method, someone is following LIFO method, someone may be following any other valuation method or etc. So, on that basis the ratio analysis can't be compared. Likewise, if the same industry, two companies are being existed, company A and company B, and company A is following LIFO method and if company B is following FIFO method, then to make the actual comparison of both the company, it is not feasible. Comparison can be done, but it is not feasible, because one is making the valuation on the base of FIFO and one is making the valuation on the base of LIFO. So, here whatever ratios regarding the stock and cost of goods sold will be calculated, it won't be match up with each other. So, it is like that. After that, lack of standard of comparison. So, here no fixed standards can be laid down for ideal ratios. Likewise, someone says that current ratio is said to be ideal if current assets are twice the current liabilities, but this conclusion is not justifiable in every situation. For each and every industry it is not possible, so that to get followed by this same phenomena. It is not justifiable also. So, it may be perfectly ideal if current ratio assets are equal to or slightly more than the current liabilities. So, someone is may be followed by this, that we are been very happy that if our assets or current assets are little bit more as compared to our current liability, we do not require double amount of current asset, because as if the current assets are been double, then what is the generation of this additional amount of fund. So, here the different of opinions of different companies will be revealed. Quantitative analysis, ratios are tools of quantitative, that is of mathematical analysis only, and qualitative factors are ignored here. Here whatever the qualities of the company and whatever the qualities of the organization is been there, it has been ignored. After that, window dressing, it means presenting the financial statement in such a way to show a better position than what is actually it is. So, whatever ratios are been there, it is window dressing. Likewise, for an example, if for instance low rate of depreciation is charged, an item of revenue expense is treated as capital expenditure, the position of the concern may be made to appear in the balance sheet much better than what it is. Here the charges of depreciation, the rate of depreciation, it is a confusion. It is not 100% fixed that this rate of depreciation will be charged, it must be followed, etc., etc. Duration is fixed. Likewise, as per the Income Tax Act, if the company has been utilizing certain assets for more than 180 days, then 100% rate of depreciation, 100% in the sense whatever rate has been decided. It is not like that if the assets has been acquired by 1 crore rupee and if the assets has been utilized for more than 180 days, then 100% of 1 crore will be charged as a depreciation. It is not like that. Whatever rate of depreciation, likewise 15%, then 15% will be applied, and if less than 180, 7.5% will be applied. But this 15% and 7.5%, it is confusion whether this rate is actually applicable or not. It is a confusion. Change in price level, whatever fixed assets have been acquired, do you think that the price of the same asset will reveal the equal price after certain years? It is not at all possible. So, fixed assets show the position statement at cost only. That means it does not affect the reflection of the change. Durational change of the fixed assets will not be reflected in the balance sheet, and it will not be possible for the organization so that to have the make the actual valuation as far as the market value comparison is been concerned as compared to any fixed assets. So, it is also a limitation. Casual relationship must, means proper care should be taken to study only such figures as have a cause and effect relationship, means correlation must be existed. Otherwise, if either of the ratio analysis does not have any comparison or any effect, then how to make the ratio analysis? It is not, it is illogical. It is illogical. Ratios account for one variable. Since ratios account for only one variable, they cannot always give correct picture. As if in the definition also, I mentioned that minimum two variables are required so that to have the actual picture. So, through the way of only one variable, it is not at all possible so that to have the identification of correct picture or ratios. Seasonal factor affect financial data, definitely. If the seasonal business has been going on, then in such condition, likewise raincoat or umbrella, then in apart from monsoon season, they won't be having any business. Then in such scenario, whatever liquidity ratios and inventory turnover ratios will give biased picture, because it will be having very much high amount in the durational season and nearer to negligent amount in X season. So, it is like that. So, after theories, basic theories, let us have the indication of the different formulas of ratios. First, profitability ratios with reference to sales, then liquidity ratios, solvency ratios, activity ratios, and profitability ratio with reference to investment. So, these are the 5 categories distributed or identified of the ratios. Let us go with the profitability ratios with reference to sales. First one. So, here sub classifications are being given. Gross profit ratio. Gross profit ratio means whatever gross profit has been arrived with reference to sales, it will be compared, means gross profit upon sales into 100. Operating ratio, operating cost upon sales into 100. Here operating cost indicates COGS, means cost of goods sold plus operating expense. Operating profit, again operating profit upon sales, means net sales minus operating expense. Net profit ratio, here it is a mistake, instead of gross profit it must be net profit. I am just recorrecting it. So, it must be net profit upon sales into 100. So, I just recorrected, instead of gross profit it is net profit upon sales into 100. Now, second title, liquidity ratios. Here certain subtitles are been included. Likewise, current ratios. Current ratios is nothing but the comparison between current assets and current liabilities. Quick ratio is nothing but the quick assets upon quick liabilities, indicates quick assets means current assets minus stock, and quick liability means current liability minus bank overdraft. Absolute cash ratios means absolute liquid assets divided by current liabilities. It is nothing but the absolute liquid assets equals to current assets minus stock minus debtors. Then preference dividend coverage ratio, it is nothing but the net profit after interest and tax divided by preference dividend on preference shares, and debt service coverage ratio is nothing but the net profit upon interest plus principal portion upon 1 minus tax rate. After that, activity ratios, capital turnover ratio, net sales upon capital employed, fixed assets turnover ratio, net sales upon total fixed assets, current assets turnover ratio. So, whatever turnover ratios are been included on the numerator, sales will be there. Current assets turnover ratio means net sales upon total current assets. Net working capital turnover ratio means net sales upon total net working capital. Net working capital means it is nothing but the current assets minus current liability. Stock turnover ratio, COGS, that is of goods of cost of goods sold divided by average stock. Then debtors turnover ratio, debtors plus BR upon total credit sales into number of days in a year, and creditors turnover ratio, creditors plus bills payable upon total credit purchase into number of days in a year. Next title, next category, profitability ratio with reference to investment. So, return on total assets, it is nothing but the EBIT, earning before interest and tax divided by total assets or total investment into 100. EPS, that is earning per shares, it is nothing but the net profit after tax minus preference dividend divided by number of equity shares. Return on capital employed, EBIT, again earning before interest and tax into 100 divided by total capital employed. Return on shareholders fund equals to net profit after tax into 100 divided by total shareholders fund. Return on equity shareholders fund means here net profit after tax minus preference dividend divided by equity shareholders fund into 100. Dividend per share profit distribution among the equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. Price earning ratio, market price divided by earning per share. Dividend payout ratio, dividend per shares divided by EPS. Earning yield, EPS upon market price per share. Dividend yield, DPS, that is dividend per share divided by market price per share into 100. Market response ratio means market value per share divided by book value per share. So, these are what is about the portions of different formulas and different titles of the theory. Let us have the practical examples. So, here certain examples have been given, but as far as examples are given or as far as examples are concerned, it will be concerned in the next lecture. Thank you.